before I can look for any clients. Okay? So you know what I call that? That's getting ready to get ready. Right? Because here's the thing, it's all irrelevant if you have no clients. So go out and get some clients and then worry about all these other things. And how about this? Maybe your clients will pay you, and then actually you'll have money to fund that website, and it won't have to come out of your own pocket. And here's the other thing. You know what? You might actually know better what it is that you do once you have clients. So,
what it is you think you're doing.
right? I mean, you know what we think, who we think we are before we go out and do business, and who we are once we do business are not necessarily the same thing. So don't get ready to get ready. So when you look at that list of all the things that needs to get done, be realistic. And since you're now adding up time, you really know what can get done in a day. So now what's important? All right, assuming that most of you are going to have too many things on your list, you're going to do a couple of things. You're going to either break tasks down into smaller pieces, and I'm going to say a little bit more about that in a minute, and that is going to be a true writer-downer. And then you can simply delete something from your list. Now let me say something a little bit more about this, because here's what we often do. Trust me, I do it, is that you put something on your list that you intend to do. And then you put it on the list for the next day that you intend to do it. And then you put it on the next day and you really intend to do it. And on and on and on and on. And then what happens is, every day it sits on your list and it says to you, not such a hot shot, huh? Because you got this on your list, you can't seem to get that done, right? And whatever that reel is for you, because we all have it, it speaks to you, whether you consciously listen to it or not. And here's the thing, you've already decided not to do it because it's been on your list for a week and you haven't done it. So why not release yourself from it and simply take it off the list? And stop having so much mental clutter around stuff that you're really not going to do, that it's clearly not a priority, or you need to figure out a different way to do it if it really is important and it's not getting done. And that's like a whole nother thing. But at least if you acknowledge it, you can address it. The next thing is, give it to somebody else to do. You know, especially for those of you who are in the beginning of your business and you have this idea that you have to do everything yourself because maybe you don't have the funds to do it. I am here to tell you there are lots of ways to get things done. Anybody here have teenage children? That's great slave labor. And those of you who don't, did you see who raised their hands? Okay. You know, summer's coming. There are virtual assistants. There's barter. There's tons of ways to get things done. The thing is that if the start of the conversation is, I can't afford it, then the conversation ends there. If the conversation is, I need to get this done, how can I get it done within my financial constraints, that's a different conversation. And in fact, that may be a very interesting conversation to have amongst people here in Successful Thinkers in terms of your ability to share resources. So, and you can decide to do it later. So oftentimes, like, it's been on your list, you're not going to do it now, but you know what, you can put it in your calendar for next month, where it will then be a bigger priority. The other thing that I said I was going to get back to is breaking tasks down. This is really, really important, you guys. So here's what we often do. We put things on our list like build website, right? Do video. What are some other things that you put on your list?
Answer emails.
Answer emails, okay? So here's the thing, guys. Those are not tasks that are doable in and of themselves. So we sabotage ourselves oftentimes because we can't do a website. it's a whole variety of tasks. I was just going to tell you a story. I don't think I have time, but very, very briefly, I had a client who had due taxes on her I'm like, how's that going for you? She's like, Kim, you know, it's actually really not going that well. I'm like, and here's the thing. So one last thing I'm going to say about that is also to watch the emotional triggers that you put on your list. Because she had a whole story around what doing taxes was going to be for her, which made it even, first of all, it wasn't an appropriate thing because it was a lot of things. And guess what, guys? Sometimes a phone call is just a phone call, right? That prospective client that you haven't called for a week because you're afraid, sometimes, and you have a whole story around what that means, right? And what it means to your business and on and on and on and on. You know, sometimes, honestly, a phone call is just a phone call, right? There's no greater meaning to it. So don't be aware of the stories that you're telling yourself. So you have to put your plan into action, right? A plan is nothing if you don't implement it. So that's where we get back to, if you can't do all of it, pick a small little piece that can work for you and do that. And if you need to figure out what part to start with, let me give you some really good advice. Don't start with the thing that is hardest for you. Do not start with the thing that you think you do the worst. Pick the thing that feels the easiest. Pick the thing that feels like, wow, you know what? I'm good at this. If I just did this task that way, I bet I could make some headway in that. Because I gotta tell you, as a productivity expert, all the time I hear people say, well, let me tell you what I procrastinate on. Let me tell you what I stink at. Let me tell you how I don't manage my time well. And my question is, listen, you got here today, something must be working, right? But those are the things that we take for granted because we just concentrate on the stuff that doesn't work. So let's take some time and decide what does work, and let's do it every day, right? So I got a little quote for you here, and its author is unknown. Though no one can go back and make a brand new start, anyone can start from now and make a brand new ending. So my advice to you is take a piece of what you learned here today and implement it consistently. And do not say, well, this has gone well for 2 days, I think I'll add another piece, right? Remember, it takes 21 days to have something be an habit. And you know what? You guys, I know, are all such high achievers. You think, oh, well, it might take everybody else 21 days, but, you know, it's only going to take me 7. It's not how it works. So, you know, in fact, I'm going to tell you I know I'm just about out of time. I have to tell you a very funny story. So I'm going to be moving in a couple of months, so I'm starting to go through my stuff, right? And I started to look, and in fairness to me, I did move actually from a very large house, okay? But I will tell you that I started going through my office supplies, and all of a sudden I see this box of 500 envelopes. I'm like, okay, I'm not exactly sure what I need with 500 envelopes, but okay. And then I start digging deeper, and I realize that I have 3 boxes of 500 envelopes, okay?
Wow.
And I got them when I was a stay-at-home mom. Okay? So, you know, we often have this idea, like if one's enough, then, you know, one's good, then 500 must be better, right? So I'm really here to tell you, anybody who needs office supplies, come see me. I'm here to really say to you that you are going to make much bigger changes in a much quicker period of time if you're realistic about the kind of change that you can make, if you take it slow and really make it a habit before you go to the next step. And I just want to, I hope that I provided a lot of value for you today and that you enjoyed yourselves. And it was my pleasure to be here. Thank you. least I didn't have to take my clothes off.